All right, here we are. 13 minutes late, 14 minutes late. It's all good. It's all good. You know, it's
It's my
Saturday.
fault.
It's lazy Saturday. It's fine. It's fine.
Yo, Jalen. I know we all have those days. We have those days every week here at the Retro Ranger wrap up. Except for we are not doing so much Rangers as Ultraman for the next couple weeks. We started last week watching the Ultraman series on Netflix that was released in 2019. Today we'll be talking about episodes 2, 3, and 4. I'm super hyped about it. I thought it was super good.
So am I.
But
Like
yeah,
I,
how y'all
I
doing?
wanted to watch more after episode 4, but I was like, no, I gotta stop. I gotta watch Star Trek for later. And then I watched the episode of Star Trek that for today's show, and I was like, all right, well now I want to watch more Star Trek. Like, yeah, there's just so
Yeah.
much good content that's been on recently. Um, I started watching The Expanse season 5, which
Okay.
the premiere just dropped on Wednesday or Thursday, so I want to get caught up with that. There's so much WandaVision I'm watching. I know you and I were talking about that before we started the stream.
Yeah.
The new season of Power Rangers, Dino Fury, is starting up in like 2 weeks. Actually, I think our
Yeah.
last day of Ultraman is the first new episode of Power Rangers.
Is it?
The 20th.
Dino Fury.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah. Okay. Can we do this? Not really. It's retro because we'll be watching it like a day after.
I mean, you can catch that. We're going to be doing that part of the Ranger wrap up. Is that correct? They're going to be reviewing everything Dino Fury on a weekly basis.
Yeah. As far as I know, the plan for the regular Ranger wrap up is still to continue on and discuss the new episodes as they drop. I don't think there's been any change to that. But maybe you can guest spot with them once in a while to voice your opinions.
I don't think they want me over there. That's why.
It's all
It's
right.
okay.
Thanks so much for joining us for our Retro Ranger wrap up on Ultraman. Jalen, thanks so much for joining. We appreciate it. We enjoy that you spend your Saturdays with us. But yeah, you guys have anything going on during the week? Let's just banter a little bit till we get a few more people joining in.
Yeah, sure. Not really. I've been working back in the office again the past couple of weeks. We're shooting a new season of the cooking show that I work on. So I've been doing that. And then just kind of, working on normal stuff afterwards. Back end website stuff, and
Mhm.
that's about it. What about you?
Nothing really going on. I'm going to try to get into vlogging. I don't know what to vlog about. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos regarding that. You would think since we stream every week here and, been doing it for years that I would know what I want to do, but I don't. It's such a different world. So if any of you guys in the chat have any suggestions, let me know. Or if you have any rules and tips on how to do that, let me know. What about you, Corey? What's going on in your life?
Not much. I found Optimus Primal.
Oh, dude, that's dope.
Optimus Primal, and I
That's
got
actually pretty
barricades.
cool.
So it's interesting that you pulled that out. The next Transformers movie looks like it's going to be set partially in that world.
Yeah, I mean, some news drop. What is it? Transformers Beast Alliance or something like that.
Yeah, you can
Like,
if any of you guys are interested in Transformers stuff, you can head over to our website where we've got the article about that. It's definitely worth checking out. But a lot of people are excited about this. I never watched Beast. Was it
Beast Wars? Yeah.
When it was on, because I kind of that was that phase where I was like, I didn't like the animation. It was just that like weird 3D like. I watched Reboot, which was like that kind of shitty 3D animation, like computer graphics. But then after that, I was like, everything is just trying to kind of rip that off, and I felt like Beast Wars was like stuck in the middle between where it could have looked really good and not really good. So I
Well,
just
the
never
people who
got
did
into it.
made Reboot did Beast Wars as
Mainframe,
well.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Beast Wars, you miss it's like the best of Transformers, really.
Really?
I mean, even till this day, people are still like Beast Wars is still the best. Everything else that came after
Interesting.
was fine. Animated was cool, And then there was Prime. Prime would have been cool, but they got boggled down by corporate and we gotta get this toy in the show and all that kind of stuff.
I kind of like the new show, War for Cybertron.
That one.
I haven't seen the part 2 or season 2 or whatever they're calling it up on Netflix. I watched like the first episode of it, and I liked it. I just haven't gone back to watch the rest of it yet.
Yeah, that one is fine, but that one also is limited by budget. You can tell.
Which ones did I like? I think it was Transformers Armada.
Oh yeah, that's way back.
Yeah, that's pretty old. But that was after
Beast Wars.
Yeah. That was the one with the microcons, right?
The minicons, yeah.
Minicons, yeah.
Or microns in Japan. Yeah.
Jalen Glover says that he also loved Beast Wars. He's a huge Transformers fan. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that's the thing that we can do. Like Elle and I were discussing possible options for after Ultraman, so maybe we can add Transformers. I know you're a huge Transformers fan, so maybe that's something that we can add to the list as we wait for Power Rangers to drop somewhere else again.
Oh yeah, Transformers Prime's on Netflix. Yeah, just the first season though. They took the rest of the seasons off.
Wait, which one was Prime?
Boo.
Huh?
Which one was Prime? I don't remember if I saw that one or not.
You remember the video game War for Cybertron?
Yeah.
It takes place in that bubble.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it low key kind of looks like the movie, but like a cartoon version of the movies. Is the best way to describe it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, should we jump into this week's episodes? We are talking about 3 Ultraman episodes today.
Yeah, we are discussing episodes 2, episodes 3,
but I thought
episodes 4.
Yeah, 2, 3, and 4.
2, 3, and 4. Yeah. Corey, do you want to give us a short recap of where we ended last week?
Last week, I forgot everybody's names.
So Hayata is the father, and then we have Shinjiro is the son. Those are our two.
Yes, there we go.
Our main protagonist is Shinjiro.
Yeah. Okay. So we had little Shin. His father is the original Ultraman Hayata, and then some decades ago they were visiting the Special Science Search Party kind of museum thing. And baby Shinjiro is just checking out this jet, and he kind of reached too far and fell off a second story. And that's what's wrong with him. And everybody was just all like, "Oh, is your baby okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's fine. I gotta get out of here. You guys don't see this." And some decades later, he's in high school. His dad is still old. He had kids way too old, apparently. And he knows he's had these powers. He does the little Spider-Man thing. He jumps buildings, and and it's just him discovering what to do with this issue. And he runs into a Dark Ultra way towards the end after he breaks this kid's ankle. His high school trying to be cool, showing up in front of the girls, and he finds out his dad is Ultraman, and he's wearing a protosuit of a suit. I almost jumped into a spoiler, but yeah.
so I didn't realize I hadn't looked up the voice actors previously, but I did today. And Shinjiro is Josh Hutcherson.
Is he from the Hunger Games series? Is that him?
He's from Hunger Games. The last thing that I saw him in was Future Man on Hulu. He was in the Journey 2 movies with The Rock and Brendan Fraser, so he's been around.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because you are watching the dubs, is that correct?
Yeah.
I'm watching the subs.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know you watch it as you're kind of multitasking, doing other things, since you have so much going on. So that's actually super interesting.
These, though, I've been ignoring the other stuff that I've been doing and actually paying attention to the show more. Like, I feel like these are quite good. These are a lot more engaging to me. Honestly, these have been a lot more engaging to me than the Power Rangers has been. Just because the Power Rangers, like, I don't feel like I need to pay super close attention to get the gist of what the story is. The stories are very superficial, and they're not complex. Whereas this, feels like there's a little bit more going on, and if I don't pay attention, I might miss something.
Yeah, it's still a very simple kind of storyline so far. I was actually surprised. I guess we're going to kind of just jump into it. So last week, it ended on this massive cliffhanger where Shinjiro's father, Hayata, comes down, and he is basically, I am Iron Man, and I will be here to protect you. So I thought there was a whole passing of a torch that was going to happen. So in the first episode, episode 2 that we're talking about today, he comes in, he's fighting... What's his name?
Belmar.
The bad guy, Bemular.
Bemular. There you go.
Okay, so he's fighting this dude, right? And like that guy's hand like goes through his suit. I'm guessing like rips out his organs and stuff. And I'm like, okay, his dad dies. Like this is super traumatic. Like Shinjiro's gonna like, jump out of that helicopter, like go down and like try to kick his ass, you know? But the dad survives. Like that totally subverted my expectations for this. I thought the whole thing was like the passing of the torch for the Ultraman powers. So I'm kind of curious how the dad is going to further play into this series. I think he's a super badass. I don't know why he never talked to his son about having these special powers, though. Like, I understand that the father was supposed to forget that he was Ultraman, and he did for a little bit until it was triggered, you know, that the whole plane crash that they passed off as a terrorist attack. He was like, oh yeah, that's Ultraman. Wait, am I Ultraman? Wait, my son has super crazy powers? And then never talked to him from childhood through high school. And then all of a sudden, in a split moment, Shinjiro's like, all right, I'm gonna be Ultraman. That was crazy to me. Like, that happened so fast.
Well, it seems like the father didn't know that Shinjiro knew that he had those powers.
Yeah, but Shinjiro's like Peter Parker on the top of buildings, like flying across the sky, like go web, go doing things like all over the place. I thought that was
broke
crazy.
That dude's
like,
foot.
Yeah, and his friends were like scared of him. Like I thought that was weird. I don't know if the culture is different in Japan, but I feel like if that happened in America, I'd be like, "Yo, where'd you learn that? You taking secret karate lessons? Like, where you learn? You know, like I would be impressed as opposed to scared if one of my like best friends like suddenly kicked some guy's butt by just like grabbing his foot. You know, like I thought that was a little weird too, but I think it might just be a cultural difference.
It could be because like I feel like Americans are a lot more aggressive than other cultures. So here, it would totally be like, oh my god, that was amazing. Why didn't you keep beating him up? Versus versus you know other people would be like, do we want to talk to this guy?
Yeah,
I guess I thought those some dope ass powers. It was crazy though.
Yeah, so episode 2, we like basically it was Shinjiro coming into acquiring the Ultraman abilities or the suit, and fighting this Bemular guy, which is
were you guys confused though? So there's like Ide, who's the father's best friend, Hayata's best friend, or whatever, like in the SSSP, and is like, hey, we have a suit for you. And they're in the helicopter, right? So they're in the helicopter, and I thought he unveiled the suit in the helicopter, but Shinjiro comes back down, goes back to the stadium to protect his father. He's still in his schoolboy uniform. And I'm like, yo, where's that suit? You just...
he has
does like the Iron Man thing.
Yeah, he has to do the...
Yeah, but I thought that was weird. Yeah, he'll like go powers go, and then Iron Man style, the suit forms around him, coming from buildings and stuff. And I was like, man, this is like very Iron Man, very Marvel-esque, and I thought that was pretty cool. It was kind of weird. It was a weird sequence of events. Like they still had the transformation part.
Here's my question for that. I guess this kind of goes along with the Power Rangers stuff too. So
yeah.
After he does the thing and the suit comes down, is his school uniform on underneath it?
Yes.
Man, that's gotta be bunchy.
When he powers down,
that's gotta be super uncomfortable. Like every time I think about like thinking about that reminds me of in what was it? True Lies. The very beginning of the movie, Schwarzenegger is scuba diving and comes up to infiltrate this party, and he takes off his scuba suit and he has a tuxedo on underneath it, and I'm like, how like
it's
how
not
we-
wrinkled.
yeah, it looked perfect. I mean, that's
Movie
part of
magic.
yeah,
and
yeah. It's just supposed to be.
That's kind of like an
your
whatever.
suspension
Metal
of
Gear Solid.
disbelief.
Well, in True Lies, I don't think it was supposed to be suspension of disbelief. I think it was more supposed to be, okay, that's really unbelievable, but he's a super spy, so we're gonna go with it. Like it's just
Okay,
like a
okay.
really jokey like last action hero type thing.
Yeah.
But every time I see that, it's that same type of thing. Like with Aquaman. You've seen the Aquaman movie, right?
Yeah.
So I
What
hope I'm
part,
not
though?
spoiling this for anyone. Towards the end of the movie, when Aquaman finally gets the Aquaman armor, he's in that
Yeah.
like cave in the center of the earth with the giant kaiju thing. He grabs the trident
Yeah.
from King Atlan, and he
Yeah.
walks out of the cave, and he's wearing the armor. Did he?
I just assumed there was like a time span where he just changed, like
Right.
his other clothes are just floating in the ocean somewhere,
Right,
like
right.
packed up in a treasure chest.
But so
for
this
pirates
is my
to find in the
question, though.
future.
So the giant kaiju was sentient and was talking to him. So was she just like there
Yeah.
watching him as he took his clothes off and put the Aquaman armor on? But then also,
Hell
like,
yeah,
how,
she was.
How awkward must that have been for him to take the armor off of the skeleton that was
Off
on
a dead body?
originally? Like
Maybe-
trying,
I don't
trying,
know. There was this.
trying to like shake out a leg or so, like the skeleton's leg was just like stuck inside.
Maybe it was magically transferred to him.
That's right. Well, there's also that. I don't know, but in my brain, I'm just picturing Jason Momoa just like trying to get the armor off of the skeleton, and the kaiju just like sitting there watching him do it.
Let me see this up.
Dude, I don't know. Like if I was at kaiju, I'd be watching too. I'd be like, Jason Momoa. Yes. I'd hide certain parts of that suit, of the armor, and be like, you're gonna reveal a little bit more. I don't usually objectify people.
It's fine. It's fine.
I don't like objectifying people, but man, I love Jason Momoa ever since Baywatch Hawaii. Like that dude.
I'm
he has
I'm
grown
jealous
up.
of his physique. I'm jealous of his hair.
What's up,
Jezzer,
Jezzer?
the only Jason Momoa might be jealous of Jezzer's calves, but that might be about it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Calves.
Jezzer does have some bomb ass calves. If you ever get to meet him, tell him to roll up his pant legs. He won't be able to because his calves are too big. But
So yeah.
but yeah,
so
we
so
are actually
after he does his thing and gets the suit, he goes in and starts fighting this Bemular guy. Jumping ahead a couple of episodes, he gets that.
Wait,
like,
before we get that,
yeah.
Bemular, is he an alien? Is he a robot, or is he also like an Ultraman light that has fused with some
the whole
other being?
thing is that like it doesn't explain at the end of the
Oh, okay.
series is because his armor is similar to Ultraman.
Yeah,
Because,
that's why everyone is
Ultraman-
confused.
Yeah, because when you see Ultraman, they're kind of rubber suit guys. So you would think if he is Ultra, he will look like that. But I guess they're just trying to keep in with the aesthetic with robot suits or whatever.
It was,
know?
it was
Okay.
hard to tell though too when we were watching him because at the end of that fight, Shinjiro had blasted his arm off. And
Yeah, and it almost looked like electronics to me.
yeah, it was hard
Like
to tell. Like, it looked like
sparking.
it looked like it could. But I mean, that sparking could have been coming from the suit that he was wearing
Yeah.
too. It was hard to tell
Just
whether
like Iron Man
whether
and
it
Tony
was flesh
Stark.
underneath it or whether there was a suit. But when you see him pop back up later in the next episode or whatever
Yeah,
it was,
came back.
Yeah, the arm was back.
Yeah,
Jalen
like I thought that was weird.
Jalen says that he has to be a robot because remember after the fight his arm was gone and there was no human flesh underneath that armor. I couldn't tell from
It was
looking at
burnt,
it.
so
Yeah.
you couldn't really tell.
Yeah, I couldn't
It could have
tell
been
if it was
cauterized.
electronics or human flesh or alien flesh or whatever underneath there.
We are going to jump around between the 3 episodes we're talking about today. So I just wanted to compare that to the other villain in the other episode who was very suggestively sucking blood out of humans.
Well, I thought he
that
was just eating his insides, just like just sucking up all of
I don't
his
know, but,
internals.
like,
Yeah, I'm not sure what was happening
something
there.
comes out and he's like, I don't know, but that guy needs an OnlyFans. Like his OnlyFans will be like, whoa, making money. But that guy, you can tell he was an alien. Like he was identified as an alien. His arm also got cut off by Shinjiro, and like green goo was like his bloody insides or whatever you want to say, like was coming out. So there is a distinction between the aliens that happen to be on Earth, between, you know, Ultraman, who is like the beam of light and combines with a person, and then whatever our big bad is, which we don't know what he is. But
right. So
yeah, I was just kind of curious.
So this guy, his name, at least according to
Hey,
what I'm
Larry.
looking at online here, is Alien Adasic. Adacic.
That's
That guy
right.
was strong. Like he
Yeah.
he actually kind of seemed like he was stronger than Bemular, at least during this fight.
I don't know. Bemular, like, they blew up that.
I think
stadium,
maybe
though. Like,
his
she knew
head
how to
just
fight
wasn't
hard.
in the game. You know what I mean?
Maybe because like in this episode, like this is when they pulled the they took off the limiter so that he could be stronger, and
Yes.
in his fight with Bemular, like he took off his arm without needing that limiter to be removed.
Well, Bemular, I thought, was caught off guard. Like, he was coming for Ultraman, more or less, right? Like, he
True,
senses
yeah.
his power that happens to be there. I don't think he knew that there was going to be a father-son duo, because he was about to, like, blow out Hayata, like, immediately. Then, he, you know, the sun comes out, and he's like, dude, where's this, you know, probably power signature or whatever coming from? And, like, just completely caught off guard, because we see him. He's a big bad. He's plotting. He's holding his cards close, you know. He doesn't want to reveal what his plans are yet. He doesn't seem like the monologuing
It kind
type
of seems
of villain
like
that we're
he
used
was
to.
holding back because he was like oh, a specium weapon, and he didn't see that coming either. So he was just there being cocky and stuff, you know.
Right. Jalen says that it creeped him out, and that half of him thinks that the alien deserved to get killed. I would agree with that.
Yeah, eating people.
And like,
dude, and not just like one or two. It was a whole warehouse full of corpses, man. And this guy's been around for a quick minute, you know.
it was interesting because like when we saw the warehouse full of corpses, that's where the split between episode 2 and 3 was, I believe, right?
Yeah.
It was 3 and 4.
Oh yeah, sorry, 3 and 4. And because at first Shinjiro seemed like he was completely against the idea of killing anyone. Like he didn't want to be responsible for someone's death. But as soon as he saw all those corpses lying on the ground, it felt like he was like, okay, maybe not.
I don't know, like Shinjiro's like morality, that also kind of brought a question into my head. When he was on the helicopter with Ide, he was like, and Ide's asking him like, hey, if you had Ultraman powers right now, what would you do? He was like, I'm gonna freaking murder that other guy and save my father without question, not even thinking like, where is he coming from, let me think about like the antagonist side. But when he was put into the position where that other guy was like, hey, we're gonna need you to murder this alien, I like that it shows that he has that morality and he does value human life. It is not as complex as I would have liked it to be, but as soon as he walks in and he was like, man, innocent people being murdered, not an issue, I'm gonna kill this guy. He does it very sloppily though, and I like that they start him out like he is super OP, obviously, but the whole other alien was like, oh, you led me into the city, like you're doing this on purpose, like you're definitely an amateur, you're definitely new to this, you've probably killed a bunch of people with these buildings falling down, you know, like there's the cost of innocent lives. So I kind of like that complexity and that kind of dire consequences to his actions that he's going to need to grow and like get better at.
Who was the guy that was leading that first strike team? The one that told him that he had to eliminate? Was that
what was this guy's name?
Mitsushiro? Was that his name?
Dude, I don't
No,
know. That
that's
guy
not
had a
him.
long name, but
Yeah.
he was already prejudiced against Shinjiro and doing all of this.
Moriboshi.
Yeah. That's his name.
Oh,
But,
Dan.
okay,
Dan.
so this
That's
guy,
Dan.
Dan. His name is Dan.
His name is Dan.
Is
yeah,
that the
Dan
English
Moriboshi.
translation?
Or Agent Number
Okay.
340.
Okay, so my other question with this guy is, so aliens have been living on Earth, right? Is this kind of like a Men in Black situation where aliens are living on Earth, they're camouflaging themselves on Earth right now and try not to be found out? Like, is that what's going on?
Well,
or did they only recently come to Earth? Okay, all right. So spoilers. It is a question that I do
Well,
have
and
and am
when
interested
when
in finding
when
out about.
Shinjiro was talking with Ito, I think the one-eyed guy.
Yeah.
He had
Yeah,
told,
the little clam looking thing.
yeah, so he had said that after the events of the original series, after Ultraman defeated the whoever the big bad was back then,
Yeah.
that there was like this intergalactic peace treaty or something.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
after that, the aliens started coming and living on Earth.
So they've been there for a while, living in disguise. Because we see a little clip too about the guy walking down and the drunk man bumping into him. He quickly loses his whatever masking abilities and goes
that
about
was
his way.
the policeman. That was the policeman that was eating people. But
Okay.
I forget that there was a reason why they came to Earth. I missed that part because I'm still
like
just
part
taken
of
back
the,
by
like-
that dude's voice. It's just awkward.
The
okay,
alien that was
so
eating
that does
people, his
kind of
voice?
answer.
No, the Cyclops dude.
Oh,
He
yeah.
talks like this.
Yeah, he was
and
kind of
He
just
talks
want him
really
to
slow.
hurry up
Yeah.
and finish his sentence.
Let me see.
Yeah,
what
you can definitely decrease the
breakdown
amount
says
of
here.
time per episode if you take that guy out. If you guys are Simpsons fans, he is the equivalent of Reverend Lovejoy. He just talks so slow. So I get what you're saying. I am irritated by that too.
Yeah.
It gives me a chance to read the subtitles and watch the animation though.
I'm reading. Let's
So
go.
it doesn't really say here in like this breakdown that I'm looking at. It just says that the two informed Shinjiro that the Earth had made peace with aliens by signing a deal with the Star Cluster Alliance, yet alien threats still remained, with Bemular being among them. Moreover, with Shin now hospitalized due to injuries sustained from the encounter with Bemular, Ide requests that Shinjiro become Ultraman in his father's place. So so it doesn't look like they actually said why the aliens had come to Earth, just that we kind of knew that they were there.
It was almost like Bemular was attracting him. That's what he said. Like
right.
he was a magnet for them to show up.
Okay, because in that first, I think it was in that first episode, we heard Bemular say something along the lines of this power that he has is not meant for the people of Earth.
Mm.
So that's another.
Yeah, I thought that was. I'm kind of confused. So, like, was Bemular attracted because he felt the Ultraman powers still present on Earth, even though they were under peace, or is it because he just wants to conquer Earth? Because last week we were talking about like, oh, he seems more complex. Like he wants to find out about these powers. Is he an Ultraman? I mean, these questions will probably be answered as we go through the series, or at least I'm hoping. But they are like the constant questions that I have while watching these episodes going on in the background.
Yeah, but see these questions, like it's gonna sound like I'm shitting on Power Rangers. I'm not. But like the questions we have, the questions that we have about this show seem to be more in line with like questions about the story, the story and what's going to happen next, and how things are interrelated compared to how is this a thing that happens. It's seems
very world building.
Yeah.
Like these questions want you to live in this world to understand the different perspectives that might be going on and the motivations of the different characters, species, agencies, and all of that. Which is super interesting. And I'm kind of wondering, like, this is all happening in Japan. Does the world at large also know about Ultraman? Do they also have, like, extraterrestrial interactions with these people? Are there different agencies like the SSSP, maybe in Europe, in the United States, in South America somewhere?
Yeah. In one series, Ultraman Tiga, there's a American division. Their science division was called Guts. No, there's the Terrestrial Peacekeeping Corps, and then their action team was called Guts. And then that was a global thing, and they had an American branch, and then I think there's also an American. Ultraman series that took place in America. And I think that one was animated. I don't remember which one that was.
Interesting. Okay, I like that world building, a larger universe.
Yeah, that's always good.
Within this
I'm going to
series.
jump over to the chat here for just a minute. Larry Newbill is here. Welcome, Larry. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Jalen Glover says that, excuse me. Either way you look at it, Shinjiro would have to keep his guard up, whether being Ultraman or not. Not only does he have to learn to observe his allies, but other people as well, because anything could happen.
It's true. Yeah, definitely.
And then I missed something earlier. Oh, he said that what really intrigued him was that the conversation between Ito, the alien, and Ultraman. He said something about other aliens being in hiding, and that made him think that that's not the only one that's doing stuff like this. So yeah, so we had mentioned that there's probably other aliens out there that are in hiding, and because like this guy, he said, what I don't remember what it was that he said. He said something. Earlier, when he was talking about being led into the city, and that usually, they would just let him go because they
try to keep it a secret.
Try to keep it a secret. Yeah, that implied that there was probably other things that were happening that the rest of the world just didn't know about.
Yeah, they wanted the science party wanted them to be exposed. They wanted this to be the moment that, hey, aliens are back. But I mean. But like under which capacity, you don't really find out because they're still all kind of hiding.
Right. Well,
so it just kind of makes
that was interesting because Ito told the other the kind of douchebag guy to let this play out because letting the world know was kind of in the plan, but Dan didn't know. Like they didn't let him in on that until right then. So I'm kind of curious whether that was just like an immediate decision where Ida was like, you know what, let's just let this play out as it's going to play out, or whether that had been the plan all along.
Right, because they were trying to hide it. The whole thing with the attack with our big bad and destroying the airplane, they were like, oh, terrorists, and then maybe it was like a plane malfunction. They've been trying to hide it for a significant time. So I also thought it was weird that they would actively try to give Shinjiro some publicity. Like, hey, there's an accident on the freeway. This guy in a truck will probably be caught on fire if you don't go over there. Go out in front of the public where everyone has cell phones and can take pictures of you. I wonder if they're trying to build up kind of like Earth's defenses to like kind of be like, hey, this place is defended. Don't come here. This is what we're working with. And the other part is the suit that is built for Shinjiro. Obviously, it's made to look like Ultraman. Like all these other people within, society in this country, they were just like, oh man, Ultraman? Is that Ultraman? Is that Ultraman?
Tiny Ultraman.
Yeah, a tiny Ultraman, which is interesting. So I wonder if Hayata's suit was that also built by the SSSP, or was that suit part of him fusing with the Ultraman light? And did they make Shinjiro's suit to look like that? You know what I mean? Or is Hayata's suit also built by the SSSP?
Hayata's suit, it was a prototype for his son's suit, but they built the other suit for his son because you know how Destiny. Oh, he's gonna have to do this one day because he got these powers. Yeah. But also, to branch off what you were saying, it was almost like not saying like, "Hey, everybody, we got an Ultraman," but maybe getting the public ready for, "Hey, aliens are coming back, but it's okay because Ultraman's here." Just kind of slowly.
Kind of like See, I looked at. I kind of saw it as like a combination of both, like that them trying to make the public aware that there is this new defender that's out there, but also to kind of prod the aliens that are a threat a little bit, being like, "Hey, look, we're not gonna put up with your shit anymore. We've got someone that's gonna come.
You can't just be shoving your body parts down people's throats and sucking
and
life
drinking
force
them.
out
That's
of them anymore.
gross. You don't do that to other people.
Yeah, without their consent too. Like that is absolutely terrible. I don't know how they let that go on for so long. But yeah,
drinking
it's
humans.
crazy. Like how?
Well, I mean, well, maybe the alien was related to Armie Hammer.
Okay, that's. I don't think people get that joke.
Oh man.
That's a
But
grown-up joke.
yeah,
I think that went over our audience's head.
Larry
I don't
might
think
know.
anybody in the chat watches the news.
Such a
we
weird
digress. Let's bring it back
thing.
to Ultraman just ever so slightly. Yeah. So, what were your guys's big hits or big misses in any of these 3 episodes? Anything that stand out or was lacking for you guys?
What is this? But mine is just little detail things because I'm that person. But I like how his
I
dad
like that. I
struck
like the minutia.
his Ultraman pose, and then his son is doing it too, like the Ultraman fighting stance. So when he's about to battle, he's always crouched over like that. And then also when he transforms, that's also a thing because in the original series he transformed with a pen, but then he grows, so that's kind of like his henshin pose. So when the camera comes down and he's doing that, that's kind of like as if he was growing, you know.
Okay.
So all those little shout outs to like Ultraman, and even the limiter, because I think when he transforms, he can hold that form for I think 3 minutes, and then that's when
so it's the same.
His spark starts to go off. So like when they activate the limiter, he's at full power, but then he only gets 3 minutes, and then he goes back to having to recuperate. Yeah, it's just all those little small Easter eggs to the original Ultraman and stuff like that.
Oh, I like that. I didn't know. That does add though.
Yeah, like I love Easter eggs like that for people who know about like the previous things. Like obviously for Elle and I, we're not super familiar with the other series, so those don't really stick out. But for people like you that
They're
do know,
keeping with the lore. I love lore.
Well,
I love keeping that continuity.
Going back to WandaVision, watching WandaVision, people who don't necessarily know everything about the Marvel universe are going to see things on one level and enjoy it if they like it for one reason. But then everyone who actually knows a lot of details about the Marvel universe are going to see all of these other little things pop up that no one else really notices.
Yeah, like the card trick. I was dying when he did the card trick. I was like, he got it.
Yeah. Randall Park is so good. But with this series or these past 3 episodes, one of the things that kind of stuck out to me because I really enjoyed these 3 episodes. The only 2 things that really kind of stuck out that was like, okay, suspension of disbelief, was him immediately kind of knowing how to fight.
Yes,
because
I agree.
They hadn't given us any kind of they didn't lead us to believe that he had any kind of formal fight training. To me, that kind of came off like well, all agents know how to fight. That's just the thing. So that was a little bizarre. Because the suit was just a suit. It as far as I know, it didn't give him any special knowledge or anything. So his ability to fight.
Yeah.
That was okay, just kind of go with it.
That's just
100%. They could have easily gave him just no.
Well, it could have just been like an extra added scene somewhere. Him starting having fight training. He could have been in the SSP.
Or just doing martial arts of saying hey, I'm gonna beat up this bully,
Right. Yeah.
Because I have an obligation to protect those that are weaker than myself, or just anything to explain why he would be like that. Because jumping off of rooftops, we saw that, but that's not martial arts training. That is not kick ass. Let's do some roundhouse kicking to these alien beings, So right. I 100% agree with you on that one.
And then the other thing that kind of stuck out with me was during that final fight with the organ sucker guy. When the pop star girl popped out, jumped out of the car and started encouraging him. It was just a little weird to me. I don't know. I don't really know why, and I can't really explain why. It just kind of stuck out as one of those okay, I get it. I know. I understand why this is happening, but I don't know that this needed to be a thing that was happening because that moment felt to me a little bit I don't know. Do either of you guys watch Sword Art Online?
I watched the first season,
So
more or less.
that's like really the only other anime that I've been keeping up with. But
Okay.
in that show, the main character Kirito, he often has these like internal dialogues about why he's fighting and why he's helping people and doing the things that he's doing. And that's what that scene kind of felt like to me, was him having that like moment of not necessarily why am I doing this, but am I cut out for this? And then the pop star, I can't remember her name, but her like
Rena.
like giving him a pep talk and reinforcing him, be like, you are Ultraman. This is who you are. This is what you need to do. Which was playing off of the fact that the alien was realized that he was a newbie and that this was his first time really doing any of this. But at the same time, this is all happening in front of a lot of people with cameras, so like everyone sees that this is happening. So it just seemed kind of bizarre to me that the guys behind the scenes at the SSSP would have allowed this to happen basically on air, because it shows weakness.
I agree. And I mean, they explain it a little bit. I mean, the only kind of defense, because I had the exact same feelings as you during that scene, is they do explain it briefly when she's talking with her manager in her dressing room or whatever. She's like, my dad was a huge Ultraman fan. I got it from him. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe something happened to her father where Ultraman did save him, and that's why she has this kind of like undying fandom.
Yeah, well, so that did, yeah, that did,
little bit.
That didn't bother me so much. Her obsession with Ultra, you know, that's like we get those people in the real world too, just like people who are obsessed with, you know, like people who are obsessed with the Kardashians for whatever reason, or the Johnny Depp or Amber Heard, or you know, whoever. That didn't strike me as odd. It was just the fact that this was all happening in front of the alien that he was trying to take down, and that was just being allowed to happen there. That the alien was just kind of like sitting there watching it and not attacking.
Yeah, I mean, he eventually did, so I
Yeah.
did like that, because I was like, man, I would blast that chick immediately.
Right?
The moment she opened her mouth, I was like, this is an A and B conversation between our godlike characters. See your way out, you know, and he does do that. And, you know, I think Shinjiro had to react knowing this person. And I wonder if that's going to have any impact on his decisions in the future. Like, he purposely went to save her because he knows her. What would have happened if it was someone he didn't know? Like all those other people that was crushed by the rubble. It's in passing. Like, he recognizes it, but he doesn't really care. But his devotion to his father and Rena?
Yeah.
Or whatever the girl, you know, it's like, like, you have a crush on me. I probably have a crush on you. Well, I'm gonna save you. I'm gonna look like.
Also, like,
I'm
gonna
be Ultraman for you.
It's a Superman and Lois Lane kind of situation. Like,
yeah,
she knows him as Ultraman. He knows who she is because of who he really is, but she doesn't know that Ultraman is Shinjiro.
Yeah.
So I
like that analogy. Sure that's really good.
It's gonna come back at some point.
No, definitely. I definitely agree. Kind of along your lines, I thought they were really good episodes. The action I thought was really good. I like that it is gritty and that it is violent, and they don't necessarily shy away from the grotesque. I love animes that are like that, where it's a little more adult. I absolutely loved it. The one thing I thought was a little weird, and this might be a very nitpicky thing, the SSSP that is on Ultraman's suit above, like, kind of like the breastplate area, man, I do not like the way the typeface is for SSSP. To me, it looks like the Nazi SS symbols, the iron bolts. I don't know why the animators would do that. But yeah, not to take away from that, it was a small nitpicky thing. I don't like that on there just because it resembles, you know,
I can't see it on there.
Something about
that I don't want to be associated with.
Yeah, I can
something
understand
about
that.
The like Japanese and like Asian military. They are kind of
yeah.
They do come off like that.
We were like, this came out in 2019. This came out in 2019. We are so far removed from that, and I feel like they.
No, but I think like even still, that's just how their military is over there. So it is kind of jarring for us, but for them, that's just what it is. It's just like the Nazi symbol. It's
I'm
like
not a history buff. I thought they did not have. A military for until fairly recently. Like after World War II, they just were not allowed to have a military. Japan
Yeah.
did not want to have a military. So that is hearkening to like age old things that is not relevant here in 2019, 2021 that we're watching it. But other than that, like I actually really do love the animation now. I like the take on it. It was jarring to adjust to that we talked about on last week's Retro Ranger. But I'm very invested into all of these characters, with or without these like tiny little nitpicky story arc things of like him randomly knowing martial arts, of like where did these suits come from? How did they know this? But you know, even in anime or any kind of like series, you just kind of have to accept some things, and it's not that hard. I love it. Like I love these episodes. Are we gonna give?
Yeah, we can give ratings. Corey, what did you think of these three? What are you gonna give them?
Still a 4.
4?
Okay,
Still a 4 out of 5.
High.
Yeah.
And in the chat, let us know your ratings as well.
Yeah, I think I would go with a 4 as well. The random nitpicky things that I have didn't do enough to like really detract from anything like anything of importance from the episodes. But there were just like random assorted things like this conversation just happening out in the open in front of the cameras, and the him knowing martial arts type stuff. It didn't hurt the episode, but it was enough to just kind of like ding that point away from it.
No, I feel that too. I think my rating is going to be the same. It is a 4. Last week I gave it a 5. I thought that pilot episode was fantastic. Ended on such a great cliffhanger. We are getting more invested into the story. There wasn't anything super stand out, but it has my undivided attention. I'm super curious to see where these characters will go and what play in the larger universe of Ultraman these actions are going to have against future episodes and future story arcs. But it's super great. Like I love this. I think everything about it is amazing so far.
Yeah, I want to hop over to the chat for just a second.
Sure.
Jalen Glover and Thomas Franco are asking a couple of questions here. Jalen Glover wants to know if we think if they do a second season of the show, will we see Shinjiro grow giant size like his father did? I know there is going to be
it's going to be just like Ant-Man.
So there is going to be a second season. We don't know when it's coming out yet, but it has been greenlit as far as I know. I don't know. I think that's one of the things that I would say no. I think that's one of the things that's separating
even in the
this character.
Oh, I'm sorry. Even in the manga, the growing thing is not for this version of Ultraman. I don't know if it ever happens, but it's I mean, I figure if he grows, he'll just become just Ultraman.
Man, I want like an Ant-Man thing, because in the first Ant-Man movie, he doesn't grow. He doesn't become gigantic. Right. But later on, it's like he just comes out of the water and he's like super huge. Was it in Civil War? It's the first time we see Ant-Man being able to grow in size as opposed to get smaller. And I'm just waiting for that moment for Ultraman. Even if it doesn't happen, I think that's okay. But I always have it in the back of my head every time it's like, oh, mini Ultraman, that he's going to have his Ant-Man moment and become gigantic in a future episode or a future series. Season.
See, Jalen Glover also gives it a 5 out of 5. He says, I know there are some things that should have been planned a little bit better, but overall it's great. We do need a season 2. I will give my comments on whether or not we need a season 2 after we finish season 1. But so far, I agree. And like I said, as far as we know, it has been greenlit for a second one. So that will be coming. And depending on how this show goes over, if you know, I'm sure we'll still be around doing these. So once that second season launches, if this is deemed a popular thing, but you know, maybe we'll come back to it. Let's see. Someone else had given a rating there, and I've don't see it now. Jared Hodges is giving it a 4. Thomas Franco says sorry I'm late. Not that's no worries. And he gives it a sorry I'm late out of 5. I don't know what you're talking about. We're talking about Ultraman seasons 2, 3, and 4. He also wants to know if we would review Hyperforce since it is a Power Rangers show. Joe and Jezer, I believe, talked about did reviews of Hyperforce on the regular Ranger wrap up back when we were at the old channel. Hyperforce seems like a hard show to review though, because it's long drawn out role playing. It's a lot different than a regular episode, so I don't really know that that's going to be up our alley here. I honestly I can't commit to sitting down for 4 hours to watch one episode of Hyperforce.
That's a mission. And then it was 25 episodes.
Yeah.
It was fun the first time around. I was like, I wouldn't, not a second time.
We'll see about the future. I mean, for the next 3 weeks at least, we are going to be in the Ultraman series, the 2019 Ultraman that's released on Netflix. And you can watch us here every Saturday around 1:15 to 1:30. Let's be realistic. If you can set your notifications and you hit that little bell icon that's down there, you'll be notified when we do go live. We are here every Saturday talking about, Ultraman now for 3 weeks. And we're going to have a discussion about where it goes from there. Hopefully we can get back to Power Rangers like Josh had mentioned. We're going to see where it might be released. But at least for the next 3 weeks, for sure, we are talking about this series. If you want to watch it, it is on Netflix. It is only 1 season. They are only 23-minute episodes. Really easy to get through. And actually quite compelling. So far of the 4 episodes we've reviewed so far.
And again, you guys, since we don't know what's coming after this, we will be done with Ultraman, with season 1 of Ultraman 2019 on February 20th, which is the first day or the season premiere of Power Rangers Dino Fury. So if you have ideas for non-Power Ranger content that you'd like us to cover, we are looking at short seasons only. We're not looking at things that are like 40 episodes or 50 episodes or whatever. Between 13 and 20, something that we can get through in a month and a half. Drop suggestions down in the comments. Let us know on social media, and we'll add those to the list of things that we take a look at. Because once we're done with this, we'll have another show where we kind of come if Power Rangers hasn't been announced coming to Paramount Plus or someplace else, we'll have another show where we're discussing what we're going to cover next. Before we go, though, Jalen Glover does have one more question. He says, "What do you expect the writers and animators to do?" Oh, sorry, wait. Let me read this in my head first, and then I'll read it out loud. Okay, what do you expect the writers and animators to do with the series if they continued, or what would you want to add to it?
I don't have any context for Ultraman, so I can't comment on that until at least the end of this series. But Corey, what do you have?
I feel like that's something that Corey could answer, though, having seen previous Ultraman stuff. Like, is there anything from the Ultraman lore that you'd like to see added?
That
won't spoil anything that we're going to see in the next 10 episodes?
No.
We gotta go quick though. We're gonna have to wrap up. Corey's gonna collect his thoughts and maybe answer that on our next stream. I think that will about wrap it up. What do we have going on later today or any other streams?
Later today in about 20 minutes, I will be live with Eric Berry talking about Star Trek Enterprise episode 14. Which sees Shran and the Andorians return. I'm really excited to talk about this episode. It was a lot of fun. And then tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, you'll be able to join Jay, Nate, and Pumps as they discuss everything that happened this past week in professional wrestling on the Illuminerdi Wrestling Order right here on YouTube. I think that's it. Either of you guys have anything to plug for the week?
No, not this week.
Corey?
I'm
Corey's
hungry.
out.
I just want
All
to go
right.
eat. I'm really
I
hungry.
just drank a whole cup of coffee. I really have to go use the restroom, which is why I'm rushing this one out. Thank you guys so much for joining us for this week's episode. See us next week, next Saturday around 1:15 to 1:30. Click that notification button and visit our website, theilluminerdi.com. And until then, I don't know. We're watching. We don't know how to sign out. Every week it's awkward. So here we go. Bye, guys.
Later.